Yo, 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 welcome back to another episode of Island Spot Sports. And before we get to our guest today, we have a big shout out for Living Sisu. Living Sisu is a platform and app that wants to give you all the tools to have success in your sport. Their main objective is to activate your lifestyle. So it's for active people. Enjoy discounts at companies like BioSteel, 30% off, Body Logics, the Goalie Guild, all his books are discounted. Roan, Lululemon for men, 20% off, online stretching programs with Eccentrics, 1 full month free. They got super silent massage guns, 20% off those. And it's a great quality. It's way less expensive than a Theragun, and it's great quality. So there's so many more discounts that you guys will need to just become a member to see. So they want to provide you with anything you need for success. So come join the community. I'm a part of it. A bunch of other athletes are a part of it. So it's free to join. It takes 20 seconds to get exclusive offers to your sport, and it's definitely worth it. So do us a huge favor and go sign up for Living Sisu's membership. It's free, takes 20 seconds. So go do it, and we'll see you there. Living Sisu is a great company. We know one of the co-founders, Zach Fricali. He's a great guy. He's the co-founder. He does a lot of live streams on Instagram at Living Sisu, and with a bunch of elite athletes, and you learn a lot from like the athletes' determination, their resiliency, everything to what made them become successful. So it's been a great experience so far. So go on. I'm gonna leave the link in the description. So go sign up. Yo, welcome back to another episode of On the Spot Sports. I'm Jack, and today's episode we are joined by a very special guest, current professional goaltender Hayden Hawkey. Hayden is currently playing in the East Coast Hockey League with the Tulsa Oilers. Along with being a pro, he also played NCAA Division I hockey for Providence College and played in the USHL for the Omaha Lancers. He has many different awards to his name, including USHL All-Rookie Team, Best Goals Against Average, Best Save Percentage, USHL First All-Star Team, USHL Goaltender of the Year in 2013-2014, NCAA Hockey Second All-Star Team, NCAA D1 New England All-Stars, and NCAA Hockey's Mentioned All-Star throughout college. So this is going to be a really good interview. So excited to have you on, Hayden. So welcome to the show, Hayden Hawkey.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Didn't have to pump my tires quite like that, but always appreciated.
Yeah, no problem. We always got to pump the tires for the guests, no matter what. So good to get you on. So like, how have you been? Like, we're in this crazy time right now with everything going on. Like, you're in Tulsa right now. So how's everything going there?
Not bad. We're just on the outside of a playoff spot right now. Kind of tough weekend for us. Couple heartbreaking OT losses, but kind of the way things go sometimes.
Yeah, that is true. You just gotta go with the punches, I guess, and just battle your way out of the heartbreaking losses and focus on for the next games.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so like, can you give like our viewers like a little background information on you? Like, when did you start playing hockey? Why did you become a goaltender, and like some of the teams you played on growing up?
Sure. So I grew up in Chicago. Probably started skating when I was 4 or 5. Started playing goalie short after because I didn't like skating, and then just played like AA growing up until about high school. I moved to Colorado, and started playing AAA out there for the Thunderbirds. Played with them for 4 years of high school, and then, like you said, moved to Omaha, Providence, and then been about 5 different places since then.
Yeah,
so it's kind of been a bit of a wild ride so far, but definitely enjoyable.
Yeah, absolutely, a wild ride for sure, but I'm sure it's a ton of fun just with all the places you visited and everything. Like, I'm sure you have a fun time with that.
Yeah, you have to enjoy stuff outside of hockey and enjoy what the game kind of brings you with life,
Yeah, exactly. So you grew up in Chicago, and then you moved to Colorado, where you played in the Thunderbirds organization for AAA. So like, what was that AAA hockey like for you, and just going from like, you were in single A, you're in double A, and then you went on to AAA when you moved to Colorado?
Yeah, I actually played a year. First year I moved to Colorado, I played Bantam A for Littleton. And the next year I played for Bantam AAA for the Thunderbirds. But they were just like, that was at the time the best organization in Colorado. I'm not sure if it still is. I mean, it's been a while since then, but it's when the long days started. Like that was the first really step where you're like, all right, this is how much time and effort I'm going to put into this and see what rewards I could reap after, you know?
Yeah, exactly. It's like how much of like you said, like you had to like really grind and like you would really realize that it's a lot of work to be a goaltender. So like what was that development path like for you, and especially when you're heading into juniors, like in the following years after AAA, like what are you looking for, like practice wise, like what are you doing to help yourself get to the best possible level you can?
Honestly, at the time, like when you're in high school and just out, like getting on the ice as much as I could and just skating and working out and just doing things over and over and over. And as much as like, I mean, when you're that young, you could kind of go and not really get burnt out. And then the older you get, you kind of got to take the moments for when you get those breaks to kind of settle down and let your body recover. But like fresh out of high school, it was, I didn't know if I was going to stay on that Omaha team or not. I was one of 3 goalies going into camp. So, you know, I was just packing my car up and hoping for the best. So I wanted to make sure I put in the work that summer going into it to put myself in a good spot, give myself a good shot at making a team.
Yeah, absolutely. So you said earlier that you like goalie because you didn't have to skate as much, but once you realize that goaltending is a lot about skating, what was your thoughts? Did you just like the position, just stopping the puck? Because skating is one of the most important things as a goaltender.
Definitely. I just, you know, stuck with it. Like it's always fun to be playing every moment because that's what you want, is you're thrown in every situation, and you know, you don't get to come out and take a shift and sit on the bench. Like, you know, I wanted the action all the time, and I think that's what drove me to it and kind of made me stick with it.
Yeah, exactly. And you're playing all 60 minutes. What's not to like about
Exactly.
playing every single minute of the game?
Right. Exactly.
So then you go into juniors into the USHL. So like, what was the process like for you heading into juniors before getting to play for the Omaha Lances? Like, did you attend like their main camp, get a tryout? Like, what was that process like?
Yeah. So I went to their main camp. Actually, the summer before my senior year. I didn't think I would make the team, but I thought it'd be a good experience to, you know, go out there and see what camp was like. And so I did. Obviously, didn't make the team. So I went back my second year, and uh, I was actually drafted by Omaha. I was one of 5 goalies taken by Omaha in the entry draft. So I was like, oh shit, like it's a lot of guys.
It's a
Like
lot.
this could be some tough work. And then their assistant coach at the time gave me a call, and he's like, you know, like we think you'll be good down the road, but like probably send you to the North American League this year, and you know, we don't really have a spot for you. Like we had one guy returning, so like, well, basically fighting with everyone for one spot. We'll see what happens, and I guess just got the bounce. I guess like ended up playing, I think half of 2, maybe 3 preseason games. Was there for 3 or 4 weeks, and yeah, like I just packed up my car in end of August and was going out to Omaha. It was the dream, you know, just wanted to make it, and had a backup plan of going to Minot North American League. So, you know, I just like, well, drive out to Omaha and hopefully don't have to make a 12-hour drive up to Minot after that. So,
Yeah.
but eventually ended up staying, and kind of a wild year. My goalie partner that year was Cole Bruns. He started the season with 5 straight shutouts. Ended up going to West Point. And yeah, but so coming in, I obviously all excited to make the team, and then the guy you're playing with does that. You're like, oh, I'm probably never going to play this year. Just kind of have that moment. But it was definitely like a lot of time and effort went into being prepared for that first, you know, kind of month, because I knew I would get a very limited opportunity with only a few preseason games and having multiple guys you want to look at. So just had to be opportunistic.
Yeah, that seems like a crazy ride, especially when they take five goalies in the entry draft, and then you're like, where am I going to fit in this system? And then they say they're going to send you down to the null, and then you come out to camp and make the backup gig, and then your goalie partner puts up five shutouts back to back. Like that's insane. And then you get your opportunity, and you played in a lot of games that first year. You went 22-6-3 with a 1.99 goals against average and three shutouts. So like what do you think helped you perform as good as you did and make a name for yourself in that first year playing in the top tier junior league?
We had a really good team. That definitely helps. Being on a good team at any level is going to help you as a goalie, going to help you develop in practice, going to help you during games. I mean, just having better guys on the ice will help you 10 times over. So honestly, it was a lot of practice first few months because, like I said, I wasn't playing. I think I only had like 4 or 5 games before Christmas. Like, wasn't getting much, and rightfully so. Like the other guy was carrying the load and doing well. So, and then after Christmas, things kind of just changed, and I got a look and just kind of ran with it. Like it's again, teams go through. It was a 60-game season, I think, and there's going to be highs and lows. So you got to realize you're going to get thrown in some highs, and you're going to get thrown in some lows, and just kind of grab the reins at the right time and was able to steer the ship.
Yeah, that's awesome. That besides like you only getting a few games like before the Christmas, but like after that, like you got an opportunity and you rolled with it. So like during that time that you weren't playing, like at practice, like what were you doing since you didn't get really any game time before Christmas and you're just wanting to work at practice to give yourself that opportunity when the time did come?
You mean like specifically in practice? Like what am I doing? Or
Yeah.
well, back when in that league, it was practices were decent. Like you're always playing Friday, Saturday nights. I think we only had like probably 3 or 4 weekday games. It's usually Friday, Saturday, some Sundays in there. So you have a good 3 or 4 days in a row every week where you could put in a good hour and a half at practice. We would work out 2 or 3 times a week there too. So there was always something you could do. And like there were plenty of guys at the rink that wanted to go out early and stay on late. And like that just gives you with the opportunity given to you like that. Like you have all these guys that want to do all this extra work. I kind of like to just throw myself in there and see what they like to work on, like what the forwards like to work on from shooting, or like they're driving the net a certain way, or because then I get to see what they're trying to implement in the game, right?
Yeah,
Instead
it's
of
like
me
a
just
game
going
like
out, like,
situation there.
right, exactly. Like there's obviously the time where like there's specific things I want to work on and specific goalie drills, but I think it's just as helpful to have um, forwards out there doing their own thing where you can just jump in as a target and kind of see like their tendencies and what they're trying to do, and then pick up and be like, all right, this guy's like they're catching every puck in tight and then they're pulling it like high and wide, right? So like,
Yeah.
but when it's out further, they're going short side. It's so just like little stuff like that you just kind of pick up from just repetition, honestly.
Yeah, I like that because you're out there like getting the reps like in like a game like situation. Like so when the games come, it'll be easier to tell about like where shots are going or like where you should be compared to where the puck is and stuff like that.
Exactly. So you get it.
Yeah, exactly. That's usually what I do is just go out there, like just get in there and just do what I can do to help make myself make saves and see their tendencies of the shooters.
Exactly.
Yeah. So while you put up some stellar numbers in year one, you were also presented with like a lot of awards with winning the USHL goaltender of the year, all rookie team, best goals against average, best save percentage, first all-star teams. Like, what was it like being named all these top awards and like the confidence booster it gave you going in the next year?
It was the first time really in my career where I was like, okay, I can, like one of my goals growing up was go play D1 college hockey and getting kind of all these affirmations just let that goal become a reality for me. So I basically knew, like, all right, this is what's going to happen. This is how it's going to work for me. Like, I'm going to get a shot. Now it's just, what am I going to do with it? Because it's cool to get all those awards and whatever, have people say nice things about you, but at the end of the day, it doesn't mean anything unless it just might give you a greater opportunity down the road. Right? So, but yeah, like, it's, again, cool to, have people say nice things about you, but at the end of the day, it really doesn't mean anything more than words on a page, right?
Yeah, exactly. Until then, your second year in Omaha, you played 15 games compared to like the 33 games you played the first year. So, like, what was it like not playing as much as you did your first year? And, like, how do you, like, take that with, like, your mindset and just continue to work when you're not playing as much and you went 5-7-2 that year?
Well, I actually got hurt that year. I think it was like a day or two after Thanksgiving. Got hit in a game and totally blew out my knee. So that put me out for, I think it was 8 months until I was cleared again. Maybe 9 months. Yeah, it was
a lot.
Definite slap in the face. Total 180 from the previous year. And looking back, if I could have chosen a time for 8-month injury to happen, it probably would have been then, because I'd already been committed to Providence and had gotten my name out there. But that being said, there's never a good time to get hurt, and that's not something anyone ever wants to deal with.
Especially being out 8 months.
Yeah, it was brutal. And then coming in as a freshman at school and having to deal with injuries and stuff, it's not what you want. Like, you want to come in and try and assert yourself as a young guy and try and get in a role where you can get some games. And after not being able to skate for 7-8 months, like, it's really hard to do.
Yeah, for sure. It's like,
definitely made it tougher.
Yeah, it's like, what was your mindset throughout all this? Like, obviously, like, 8 months, that's a lot to do with, like, 8 months out of training and everything. So, like, what would you do to help yourself, like, recover your injury and just be ready to go for the next season whenever you were fully cleared?
So basically, I had the injury, like I said, right after Christmas in a game. I had surgery a couple weeks later, and then as soon as I was able to, I went out to school because they wanted me to come out and start rehabbing and basically get with their strength coach, trainer, and see me through the rest of my rehab. So I went out there as soon as summer school started at the end of May. It was like 4 or 5 months post-op. First few months, like, there's not a whole lot of strengthening you can do. It's a lot of range of motion stuff and mobility. So it's more like monotonous and, kind of painful and exhausting instead of like opposed to working out where you're just tired, and it's just like things you have to do repetitive over and over that aren't necessarily difficult, but just don't feel great.
Yeah,
that's the best way I could put it, at least for the first couple months. And then, so when I got out to Providence, it really started, that like strength phase again, because you lose a lot of muscle mass and you gotta get it all back and get back to where I was before. So it was a long summer there of basically, I don't know, probably 5, 6, 7-hour days at the rink of just like working out in the morning and then going to the pool for a rehab session and then hitting the training room for a little bit and then going in the gym for lower body workout. Like, it was long days, and it's always harder to, when you're hurt, you want to come back so bad, but like, you're doing everything you can. There's only so much, like, your body can only move so fast. So, you just it's hard to not get frustrated. And especially coming into school in the summer, and I didn't really know anyone. And, it was tough. It was definitely tough, but it's a great learning experience at the same time.
Yeah, for sure. So before we get into Providence a little bit here, in 2014, you were drafted by the Montreal Canadiens in the 6th round, 177th overall. in the NHL entry draft. So like what was getting drafted like, and like where were you when you got drafted, and like what was that day like?
It was pretty cool. Obviously, like that's something that you the kid like kind of dream about. But again, it's like the awards, right? Like it's cool on paper, but it really
Yeah.
doesn't do much for you. Like you still got to go out and earn it. Um, and so I remember I was laying in bed that day and it was like I just gotten home from a workout or something. I was talking to one of my buddies I was playing with, and got a call from my agent, just totally out of the blue. Like wasn't really expecting it, and like just kind of blown away. But it was definitely a cool phone call to get. It's something, like we said, everyone kind of dreams about, and it opened or got my foot in the door at least to the next level. So I was thinking at that point, like, all right, I know I'm going to school, and now maybe I have a chance to go do this too, right?
Yeah.
So just opened the ceiling a little bit higher,
Yeah.
which was pretty sweet.
Yeah, I'm sure that was a fantastic day, and your phone probably blew up after you got drafted as well. So that probably would have was a busy day for you.
Yeah, it was. Definitely was.
Yeah, that's awesome. So then you go into your first year at Providence. So like what what was the process to pick Providence College to be the school for your next 4 years, and what was it like competing in a competitive Hockey East conference?
Um, well, after playing 1 year in Omaha and kind of dealing with the bus trips and stuff. Sorry, this guy's howling back here. I kind of realized like, hey, Hockey East is known as one of the better conferences, like one of the top, if not the top. So um, that's where I want to go. And the travel is minimal, which is super nice. I mean, you got 3 teams in Boston, one in for like Providence and Maine, Vermont, Yukon. Like everyone is close. The furthest you have to go is a 4-hour bus ride. I think was our longest trip was maybe 4.5 hours, but like that's
Couple easy
nothing.
bus rides.
Yeah, exactly. So that's really what drew me to it. And I visited a couple schools. I went out and visited Providence, BU, and Northeastern all in a weekend, and kind of made a decision the week after that. Like, okay, this is 3 different situations. This is what they have in terms of depth at the moment and other recruits, and so it was kind of a combination of picking academically what school I think would be a good fit, and as well as where I'm going to get the best opportunity hockey wise, because that's something you got to consider and do your research for yourself. Like college coach's job is to get you in the door and to keep you there for 4 years. Like they're going to say whatever they have to do that. And so it could be a bit misleading hearing, all these schools that want to give you all this opportunity, but they could just be saying that to, kind of get your foot in their door, and then you're kind of stuck there. I mean, transfer rules are different now, but so I was a little weary at first, and just kind of looking at like, all right, well, this guy at BU had 2 sophomore goalies at the time. I was like, well, I could go in, and I definitely, it's going to be hard to play or beat out 2 guys that would be juniors when I'm a freshman. So I don't know how well that's going to work out for me. So just that kind of thing of doing your own research first and trying to decide that way.
Yeah, for sure. So then you go into your first year, and this is the year where you're also before you had the injury over the summer, and you're like rehabbing and everything. You play in 5 games, going 2-0. So like, what was like that first taste of your freshman year like, and just being able to feel it out while also coming back from an injury?
Yeah, it was tough, but like that year basically was a rehab year, like just completely for me. Practices were, you're putting in work every day. And in college, you only play Friday, Saturday nights, and at most like 40 games a year. So you have plenty of time in practice, plenty of time in the weight room to improve on what you need to improve on. So that first year, like I said, was just a big rehab year, like just hitting the gym a ton, and it bought me more time to come back from that injury. Especially the other goalie we had at the time was ended up signing an entry level with Edmonton after that year, and he was a heck of a goalie. So was a good learning experience for me to see, like, okay, this is, this is a guy that has a routine and sticks to it every day in practice, game days, like whatever it is. You know, you could look at a clock at any time and be like, all right, this is what he's doing. And so it kind of ingrained that in me, like, all right, I need to come up with my routine, my structure, um, just to, kind of help give you that sense of normalcy and comfortability.
Yeah. So like, how important was that? Like your goalie partner and just having like helping you create that routine, like as that you need keep performing at your highest potential every day, and just being able to stay healthy throughout college.
Um, Honestly, yeah, that's like the relationships you make. I wouldn't say necessarily just um, like the goalie partners I played with, but just a full team of guys at school. Like they're guys you're with for years, and you're living, traveling, breathing, eating all of it together all the time. So you could learn a lot from a lot of people, and just seeing everyone's habits, just day in day out, like what guys do and different things you pick up on, and so it's really easy to learn from each other as
Yeah.
much as it is from like a coaching staff.
Yeah, that's very true, and it's great when you have that because you can just look at them and then you're around good people and people that want to go to the next level. So that also gets it into your mind, and just that if you want to get to the next level, you have to have a routine and like stay healthy and just do whatever you can to help yourself get to that next level.
Yeah, exactly.
So then going into your sophomore season, this is where you get a great opportunity playing 39 games after rehabbing the year before, and you went 22, 12, and 5 with a 2.19 goals against average. Like, how much did that opportunity mean to you in your development to play majority of the games as a sophomore?
It was huge, and like I said, that opportunity came because the year before we had a guy who was a junior who signed with Edmonton. So like, if he doesn't take that contract, I don't get that chance until my junior year. So that was like a bonus year for me, and it was a huge opportunity. Um, it took a while definitely to get back in the groove of playing, every night and being the guy again, because there's definitely a burden that comes with that. Um, but it's a happily accepted burden and a way better one than sitting on the bench. So I was thinking, why not make the most of this opportunity? And we did all right that year. Like, we were a younger team. I think we had probably 10 or 11 freshmen on that team. So it definitely makes things more difficult, just because you don't understand like what the game of college hockey is until you're there for a year or two. I mean, same thing with pro. Like, you don't really get what the game is until you watched it, and you're there every day, and you kind of just notice those tendencies again.
You just soak everything in, and you just soak everything in, and like it comes with experience as well. Like you're in your second year pro, so like you're still trying to find the ropes, right? And just a little bit more and more every day, and just become like that true pro.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, you can do the right thing for every day of the month, and then you can still have stuff go the wrong way. Like, that's just that's how life is. That's how hockey is.
Yeah,
It's a mean reminder.
exactly. And it really is all about like opportunity too. Like some things might happen that you don't particularly see happen, and you get an opportunity and just got to roll with it and just take it by the reins, and just when that opportunity is given to you, you just gotta go with it.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it.
Yeah. So while you were also a sophomore, you got your first collegiate point that year. So like, what was it like getting that point as a goalie?
I honestly couldn't even tell you how it happened.
There's a little interesting fact that I found. So
The memory's a little. That was a while ago. I don't know. I
yeah.
wish I could say I had enough points where I don't remember them all, but definitely don't.
Yeah, for sure. So, do you ever want to score a goal, or you just just gonna stay playing and staying in there and not shooting the puck down?
It would have to be the right circumstance to try, because you don't want to like
Yeah, you don't want to
maybe a guy would
screw up
mess
your
it up,
team.
and then
Yeah. And then
yeah,
they come down and tie the game up.
right, exactly. So like just something stupid, or you like just send a muffin up the middle, and then next thing you know, you're like, ah, shit, like it's kind of all on you, and it's self-inflicted pain. Try to avoid that as much as possible.
Yeah, exactly. So then going into your junior and senior year, you put up similar numbers going 24, 12, and 3 and 24, 12, and 5. So you put up some great numbers. Like, what do you think made yourself such a successful goaltender throughout your 4 years of college hockey, especially those final 2 years when you're really consistent?
Honestly, it's gonna sound like I'm beating a dead horse here, but just the routine. Like we would do goalie sessions every day before practice, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Like we would go out at 1:15. Practice would start at 2. So just getting the 30, 45 minutes in of skating, same drills, like not the same ones every day, but like you got a bag of 10 or 15 you pull from throughout the week, and um, just hitting those repetitions and checking all your boxes. And then it's like, all right, I did my technical stuff. I was thinking the game. This is, kind of my roadmap. And then you get into practice, and it's like, all right, let's keep implementing this, and um, just add like that next compete and battle level on each puck.
Yeah,
Like that was it. Like it's
yeah,
practice. That's college hockey. It's you got to practice hard, and then you got to play hard too.
yeah, for sure. I love the way you said that, like, because it's all about the reps and the practice and the routines. Like, once you get all of that, like, that's when like things are going in the right way for your development. Like, sure, things go wrong, but like once you develop all these, like, you have all the assets to go to the next level.
Exactly. Like you're setting your default at a certain level, right? And the more you practice, the more you grind it out, the higher level your default play is. So you can just help yourself so much more.
Yeah, exactly. So then go your senior year, you pitched 8 shutouts your senior year. So what helped you see the puck so well? Was it just the routines that you're doing and and the confidence that everyone had in you, just the confidence in yourself? Like, what helped you see the puck so well?
I think that's it. Yeah. Like after coming back for a senior year, it's like I've played, I know what this is like. I know what to expect. I know, what buildings we're playing in. I know like you can kind of cover all the adversity if you want. And it just makes life a lot easier when you can, what's coming your way,
Yeah.
what's expected of you, what saves you have to make, how you have to play, what it's like to play a team back-to-back nights. Like things just come easier.
You
Just
have everything
yeah,
down to a T pretty much.
exactly. Since by year 3 of starting against, the same schedule or same league and same sort of teams, you know what to expect. So it just makes things a little bit easier.
Yeah, for sure. So like all throughout like all 4 years of college hockey, you took Providence to the NCAA tournament and you made a Final Four appearance as well. So like what's been the biggest difference you noticed from the regular season going into the playoffs?
Um, It's a tough question because, like, I would say there's really not that big of a difference in college between playoffs and regular season because the only playing, I think 24, 26 league games, or maybe 28 now, and then another 5 to 10 out of conference. Like every night is playoff game. Like you got to be like, all right, the way the pairwise standings work, like you have to beat teams out of conference, and you have to beat every team that you're expected to beat. Otherwise, you're not going to make playoffs.
Yeah.
So, like, you have that pressure on you every weekend of this is a must win. Like, we have to sweep this weekend. We have to win. We got to get 3 out of 4 points at least against, another top 10 team. Like, that's no easy task, but that's what you have to do. That's what, if you want to succeed, you want to make playoffs, then you got to go, you got to win. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah,
Plain and simple.
exactly. I like that answer because it's right to the point. Like you have to win. You have to win every game, get 3 to 4 points, like you said, and just it's a battle every single night. So like it is playoff hockey potentially in the regular season. Like every night's a playoff like atmosphere. It seems like.
Yeah, especially with student sections and bands and everything, like it just makes the atmosphere that much more alive.
Yeah, so like going into fan sections here, what's been like the biggest like chirp or like biggest like chant that fan sections have chanted at you?
That's some good ones. Northeastern was good. Like their student section sits like on the second level, right above the net, basically. Same with Maine. So those two were always like two of the rowdier places. To Holy Cross my senior year, they started chanting my sister's name, which I just thought was like so out of pocket. Like just about like everything you could go with. Like I don't know how they found my sister's name, but just like I started laughing in the middle of the game. I was like, this can't be real.
You're dreaming.
Yeah, like it was hilarious. Like just the last thing you think you'd hear during a hockey game, right?
Yeah. They must have been stalking some social media or something.
Yeah, had to. But no, like it's Notre Dame was another loud place. But like any building in college hockey, you're gonna have a good atmosphere because students are passionate, and you know, like the history of most of these programs goes back a long time. So people are really devoted to their teams.
Yeah, absolutely. So like college atmosphere, like it's always a blast to play in because you never know what they're gonna chant or like what's gonna happen. Like it's always rowdy in there.
Exactly. Like I would have loved to play like a North Dakota or Minnesota just to see what those places were like. But I saw BC with 10,000 people. I saw BU with 7. We had played a Fenway game. Like I saw everything I needed to see in that league. That was the cool part about playing there.
Yeah, for sure. It's like, what was it like going and getting to go to a Final Four? Like, what was that experience like?
That was really cool. It was definitely something we were shooting for. Especially the year before, we were tied with Notre Dame and ended up scoring with like 20 seconds left. Yeah, and then it was like winner of that game moves on. So we were pretty snake bitten after that year, and so getting an opportunity the following year to go, it was just a bummer we didn't make more of it. Duluth had a good team. That game came down to bounce in the third period. So that's it. That's college hockey.
That's how it usually goes. Just
Yeah.
one bounce changes the entire game.
Exactly. But no, it was a great experience, and it's always a cool time anytime you get a chance to play in an NHL building with a big time crowd. Like that's, it's a pretty cool experience. Really cool experience.
Yeah, absolutely. So then after you graduated college, you joined the Kansas City Mavericks of the ECHL in 2019, 2020. So like, what was the process like to sign a pro deal and like, how did it come about?
So basically my rights at the time were with Edmonton. So I was thinking I might get an offer of some kind from them. Season ended, nothing there. So I was like, okay, I can't. Technically, they hold my rights then until August 15th after your senior year. So we talked about how great it was to get drafted. Getting drafted, kind of screwed me because I feel like if I was a free agent at the time, I might have been given a better opportunity. But instead, I had to wait till August 15th before I was allowed to really do anything. So I didn't have a contract at the time. I had a training camp invite from Washington, so I took that. I was there for about a week. Got released. We got a AHL camp invite from Stockton. Went to that, and then from there was there for about a week, and they said, "Hey, we're releasing you. We want you to go to Kansas City and play." I'm like, all right, perfect. Like I figured this is a league. You gotta work your way up and kind of prove what you got. So I went there and I played the first 2 games of the year, and then didn't get a sniff after that really, just because guys got sent down from Stockton to Kansas City that were on a contract with Calgary. So you don't get a whole lot of opportunity when guys who are making a lot more money than you get sent down. It's just the nature of the beast. So last year was really just a learning experience of watching hockey. And again, it's the routine. Like, the difference between college and pro is, in pro, no one's watching over your shoulder, making sure you're in the gym, making sure you're going to class, eating right, all that stuff. So you kind of have to police yourself and find that routine, but it's different. Like, you don't have all the same, you don't live on campus with your rank and your gym and your food, and like everything's not just handed to you. Like, you have to go be an adult. As weird as it sounds, it's something else you got to get used to,
Yeah. You gotta work for everything you got in that league. You just gotta work, keep working. Like, nothing gets handed to you, like you said.
Exactly it.
Yeah. So like you said, you played in two or three games that year in Kansas City. So like, what was it like playing your first professional game? Like, take us through the game, like how it went for you.
So it was in Tulsa, actually. It's funny because I'm here now.
You're in Tulsa.
Yeah. So it was a 4.5 hour bus ride. Hop on the bus around noon, bring your lunch, eat, nap, wake up, get off the bus and get at the rink and go play. Like, that's, pretty standard in this league. And I just remember sweating a lot. I remember being like, it's really hot in this building, like playing here now, like it is very hot in here. But that was really the one thing I remember. But didn't play a terrible game, didn't play a great game. I remember there was a goal that game that they got that like puck hit the crossbar and went like straight out.
Oh.
The ref called it a goal on the ice. I was like, man, it hit the crossbar. Everyone saw it. Like, the guy didn't even put the goal light on. So they go to review it after he calls the goal. The review, like, they had like an iPad or something in the box. They go to review it. Like, oh, the review system's down, so we're gonna keep it as a goal. And it's like, all right, I guess, it's my first game. This is like, just here's some more shit.
I guess a goal that hits a puck that hits the crossbar is a goal now.
Yeah, it's just like, sometimes there's just bounces, man. Like, it's just the way it goes.
Yeah, I've had some of those moments before. Like, someone shot it, hit the crossbar, and then the ref called it a goal, and I was like, my glove is at the crossbar, like, and I literally saw it like hit the crossbar, and he's like, no, didn't you were moved over to the left. I was like, I literally stood in my same spot I was and showed the ref that I didn't move, but somehow it was a goal, even though I hit the crossbar. But it was wild.
I know your pain.
Yeah, it sucks when that happens, but what are you gonna do?
Exactly. Nothing you can do.
Yeah, exactly. So like, what was the biggest thing you learned going pro that you didn't know before? Like, everything, like with the routines and everything, like what else did you learn from that stint with Kansas City and just going through the pro ranks that year?
Something one of my assistant coaches at school told me, like, in my senior year, is like, oh, if you're playing, any other league below, like if you're on the NHL or American League, you're not gonna feel like a pro. And I didn't know like what he meant. I was like, it doesn't make sense. Like, you're playing pro hockey. How does that? And I think kind of what he was getting at was, if you're up at the NHL level, even if you're just there for a camp or something, like, you're there and the way you're treated is like NHL top notch, right?
Yeah.
Further down you get, like, it's all about money. Like, some teams just don't have, a great budget. Like, it's hard to financially support a hockey team. So you don't get all the, perks and same like with college. Like, you don't have all the perks that you would get from a, program that's making a ton of money because they have a basketball or football program that brings in a ton of revenue, so they can fund you and get you whatever you need, and you get all the perks, right? So you don't necessarily have all those, and you have to, realize what it is to still put in the work and do everything you need to do without, having the top end stuff. I know that sounds like a little snobby, but you get kind of spoiled, like when you go to college, and especially the place I was like Providence redid their whole rink, weight room, everything. I think 2 or 3 years before I came in. So like we were spoiled. I'll flat out say it. Not as spoiled as a Big Ten program or like in North Dakota, but like we were treated really well. And you kind of take advantage of those things. Don't realize that those aren't always going to be around. So that's one of the bigger adjustments you got to make. And then as far as hockey goes, like it's just a different game. In college hockey, you play half as many games in a season, so guys are blocking twice as many shots because every game's more important. So you got to learn, like there are games where guys aren't going to be all plugged in pro hockey. Like it just happens. You play 70 games in a season. It's hard for guys to show up every night with their A game. When they're playing 4 games in 5 days in 3 different cities, like it's just
that's tough.
We're all human. We make mistakes and we're not able to always perform at our highest, but it's your job to figure out what it is for you to perform at your best level and to get yourself there.
Yeah, exactly. So like throughout the time last year, you were in Kansas City, and then right before COVID came into play, you were with the Greenville Swamp Rabbits, but you didn't play any games for them. Like, were like the events leading up to the season being canceled and the games being postponed in Greenville?
So I met the team in Jacksonville on Sunday. Flew from KC to Jacksonville like Saturday night. Had a 4:00 game against Jacksonville. Busted 6 hours back to Greenville. Monday was off. Practice Tuesday, Wednesday, morning skate, Thursday, and then we got a text saying the league was canceled. So I was there all of 4 days. Quick trip.
What a crazy 4 days that must have been.
Yeah, it was. It was, just trying to get to know everyone and figure things out, like figure out the rink, the dynamic. Like you're trying to get a feel for, how things work, like how relationships are with coaches.
And then everything
just like that, it's all taken away. Yeah.
That's crazy. And Greenville, the Swamp Rabbits. That's a pretty sick name. So that must have been pretty cool to be a part of the Swamp Rabbits for 4 days.
Yeah. And then I was with them again, started this year for a couple of weeks. So I had a couple cups of coffee in Greenville.
Yeah, for sure. So then you go into the really long off season where no one played a game for like 9 to 10 months, whatever it was. So like what would you do during this long off season when you never knew like the season could start in a month, it could start in 2 months, it could start 5 months from now? Like what were you doing to help prepare yourself for any given situation that was going to come your way?
So the first couple months after the season, I was thinking like, okay, I can take time off and then like start, really working again. But you don't know when things are going to start. So it's like, all right, well, I may as well just start working now, take a break at some point in the summer. Like you have to gauge, because you can't go for 8, 9, 10 months just working your ass off and then go into, like we played 72 games by the time the season's over in just under 6 months. So by the time that's all done, that's almost a year and a half. You can't keep going. Like your body will not hold up for that long. So started getting in the summer, just a lot of yoga, a lot of like bike riding, not a lot of weight room stuff for the first like month or two, more just like band stuff if I was doing anything in the weight room. But like for me, it was more like get away from the game and just kind of hit the reset. And like with COVID, no one's out doing anything anyways. So I was like, I'm not going to try and get in the gym. It's just going to be a pain in the ass. So I ended up, once my roommate or my buddies and I that I ended up living with last summer, we just bought a bunch of gym stuff and built a gym in our garage. So started hitting that pretty hard, like May, June, July comes along and they bump the league back again. So now it's like, all right, I've been kind of busting my hump here for 3-4 months, but I think we're still 3 or 4 months off from the season. Like maybe I should take a week or two here to just kind of hit the reset button. So, did that and then just get right back to work. Like I took it as a time to get better, stronger, put on more weight. Like that's always been a problem for me, is gaining weight, gaining muscle. And so I just used it as a time to improve myself. I think I increased my mobility a little bit this summer, which is always good. And then you look at this summer coming up ahead, like we're going to have a 3-month off season. So
you have one long off season, then you have a short off season.
Yeah, it's a definite change of pace. But it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, for sure. And then finally you're able to the season comes on. You guys started in December, or did you?
Yeah.
Or because I know half the league started in December, half the league started in January. So like you start in December, you finally get to have a season. So you go to Wheeling your first time around in the season. So like you play 5 games in Wheeling, go 1-3. So like, what was your experience like with Wheeling and just being finally being able to play some games after 10 months of not playing anything?
Um, I think you said there was 5 games in Wheeling.
Yeah,
I think I only had 2, maybe 3 starts. So like it's the same situation. Like I was just in a spot with guys that are on a better deal and they were gonna get to play. So you're kind of just left with the scraps. Like I think the games I did play were like the final game of a 4-5 or something like that, where guys are dead. And, you're just trying to take that opportunity and help the team as best you can, and that's hard to do when you know it's really tough to do, and especially when we were playing like Indy and Fort Wayne every weekend, basically like the
yeah,
same 2-3 teams over and over and over, and it's just like games just get so repetitive.
yeah. I could only imagine that, and just. But you start some rivalries when you're playing that many games, especially like
Hey,
if you're some teams are playing like four games against the same
oh
four
yeah,
same team 4 nights in a row. Like no one's gonna be happy about that.
things got real chippy real quick.
Oh yeah, I can only imagine. So then after you go to Wheeling, you spend time in Allen. You play 2 games there, and then you go on to Tulsa, where you currently are, and you've played 12 games there so far. So like, how wild has these last few months been from going from Wheeling to Allen to Tulsa?
um, it's been tough. Like it's not easy to pack up and move cross country, and then to have to do it again and again, and just like I said, start over with team, and you have to meet 20, 25 new names, faces, coaching staff, like systems. You're trying to process it all, and it's not easy, and it's not something that's necessarily fun to go through. But once you do kind of get comfortable in a place, then it's like things slow down a little bit, and um, it's just it's adjusting. That's what you have to do. Like you're always adjusting.
Yeah, absolutely. So then like you played on 3 teams this year so far. You played like on 3 teams last year, I believe. So like from like your first year to pro to second year to pro, like what's been some of the things that you've learned from that, from like just the reality of pro hockey and just everything that you could learn from going from year 1 to year 2?
Uh, it's, it's all about money. Like whoever's basically getting paid more. If someone's on a better contract and or on a higher level contract, I should say, like you got a guy on an NHL deal and a guy the coast deal, like most of the time the NHL guy is going to get the shot because he's getting paid more, and someone else higher up the ladder wants him to get his games in. So you just kind of have to accept that you're just there, and um, you got to be ready for opportunities again. Like it took me almost 2 years to get 10 games played. Like and that's it. Like you're not opportunities are not easily given, especially
Yeah.
in a year when only half as many teams are playing, and the American League is missing a chunk of teams. So it's like everything's even more clogged up. Like a lot of guys didn't go to Europe. It's tough, man. There's a lot of hockey players, a lot of good hockey players, and you don't realize it until you're in it.
Yeah, that's for sure. So then, like you said, it took you 10 games to play, or 2 years to play 10 games, and took you 2 years to win to get your first win. So like, what was that first win like for you, and just being able to get the first professional win under your belt?
It was a game I came off the bench. Actually, guy got hurt. So I came in, we were down 3-1. We ended up winning 4-3 in overtime. So I only played like a period and like maybe a minute or two at the end of the second. Like it was it was quick, but it was get back into it, and that feeling of winning. Like there's nothing better. So like getting that like kind of release, that happiness, that whatever you want to call it, like
Yeah.
whatever that feel, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Everyone
Yeah.
knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It's winning. It's the best. So like,
It's a great feeling.
it is. So getting to do that again was been real nice.
Yeah. A win's a win no matter what. Like, they don't ask how you do it. They ask, did you win?
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's
for
exactly
sure.
it.
Yeah, exactly. So I have a few more questions for you before we wrap things up. So do you have any tips for goaltenders looking to get to the next level?
Never stop learning. You're always a student of the game. Never stop learning. Never stop working. That's those two things. You're gonna put yourself in a good spot. Really
There's
good spot.
always stuff to learn from. Like, you have so many resources we all have now, and just to learn it's incredible.
That's the other thing. Like, value the relationships you make and get the most out of those relationships. Like, I've met some brilliant hockey minds, and be able to pick their brain and just talk to people about the game. Like, you'll be surprised how much you can learn from just simple conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. So my next question is, what's your favorite pump up song? If you're trying to get a little pump in for a lift, your pregame warm up, like, what are you listening to?
Let's see. Let me pull up a playlist and see what I was listening to yesterday. I've been kicking to some rap lately. It's either rap or like house for me. Those
Oh, yeah.
are my two moods. Like, I'm in the gym and trying to like get after it. I'm putting on some like just bumping some loud rap. Anything by 50 Cent, anything by like, I can't pick one song. That's too tough of a question. Let me scroll for a second, keep looking, because I don't want to like say the wrong song.
Yeah.
Be like,
And then you're
say
like,
one and be
later,
like,
you're
no, this is it. Like,
yeah, it's all,
obviously like Eminem, anything like
yeah.
Martin Garrix, like
You get
Macklemore.
down, you get down to all any of those songs for
Any of it,
sure.
yeah, any of it. Like, just something loud, get the vibes up.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's awesome. So I have two more questions for you. So as you go up like the levels, everything gets harder and harder with guys who are stronger, bigger, quicker releases. You have less time to react to shots. So like, what do you do to give yourself the best chance to stop the puck, especially since guys can change the angles in less than a second, and guys can literally pick their shots whenever they want?
So without getting like too technical, it's just, I feel the more you can set your feet and be ready for a shot, the easier it is to react to it. So if you don't have to move, if you're already in place exactly where you need to be by the time the guy's going to shoot, like if he's, whether that be like he's opening up for one time or he's pulling and shooting, if you realize that you correct it with your feet, then it just makes your life a lot easier and gives you more time to react. So I think that's the most helpful answer I can give.
Yeah, for sure. That's an awesome point there. Like, with like you being on your feet is super important. Like, if you're not on your feet, like you're just scrambling around a lot, then it seems like, and just like if you can set your feet, like everything slows down, and like you can actually like track the puck better and just make more saves that are more beneficial to like rebound control and all that.
Right. And that sounded like I said, it could be thrown any play. Like, if a guy's dragging and shooting, then it's like a small little shuffle and like keeping your feet as long as you can. If it's, a one time or like an over and back play, then it's just being able to beat a pass across and beat it back. Like, just, it's all on the feet.
Yeah, exactly. I love that answer. So my final question is, would you rather be able to freeze time or time travel?
Oh, that's a good one.
Had to end with a good one.
Probably time travel. I feel like I could do more if I freeze
Yeah.
time. Like, I don't want everyone else around me to be frozen.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
That's the only down. That's the only down thing about freezing time is that everyone else is frozen but you.
Exactly.
Time travel,
So
you can
probably
just
time
travel
travel.
whenever. Yeah, I would
Bounce
pick
around,
that.
see some cool stuff.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So this has been awesome, Hayden. So thank you so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate your time. I want to wish you the best of luck with the rest of the season, and I look forward to following your career the rest of the way.
Yeah, thanks, Jack. This was good. I love always good to have a good chat.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Thank you again for coming on.
Yeah, no problem.